Sanbonani, and welcome to Melusi's Everyday Zulu Lesson 4. I hope isiZulu has improved. I hope you're really shocking those around you and you're getting value out of all of this. I am once again here with Utenjiwe Mswane, who will be leading the lesson.
Ngiyabonga Melusi. Yeah, I share the same sentiments with Melusi. I hope that the last 3 lessons have at least allowed you to pick up. So even if you're not sure what the entire sentence says what, but from your listening to Ukozi, from watching Uzalo, from watching Isbaya, you're able to, when you hear a word, go, it's that word, and this is this word, and this is this word, yeah? And so we're continuing with pronunciation. So we're about to get to the sort of end of pronunciation and sounds, and then we're going to get into like the meat of sentence construction as we go. But this week we're just going to be learning the harder sounds. So it's titled as Imsindo Enzima, and Enzima means hard. So it's just the harder sounds that as a second language speaker, you wouldn't possibly sometimes be able to pronounce, like qom, nchanga, se, ntsele. So we're just getting into those sounds so that you know how to pronounce them if you ever have to read isiZulu at least. And so we're going to continue the same way that we did Jenga last week, Bafundi. I'm going to get into the sounds. Umelus is going to share some of the words come from the book, some of them do not. And then we're going to go into the lesson, and then we're going to close this lesson with our activity sheet again. All right. So our first sound that we're going to do for this week is L. Did you see that? Can we do it together?
How is it different from
So comes from, so your tongue, and remember when we're doing the go to the stove, is that your tongue does, and I said you put out your tongue like this. And it's your tongue is at the back of your teeth. Yes, but you're still making the same pushing sound with the rest of your jaw, yeah? So, do you see that? Yeah? So the first sound is
Cool. All right. And the word that goes with that sound is dlisa. Dlisa. Okay? Dlisa is to feed or to make someone eat. So if I feed you, I dlisa you. If I make you eat, I dlisa you. Right? And in the book, I touch on various things, but one of the things that I touch up on is witchcraft. Right? Love potions. Okay? So everybody wants love, right? So when someone has given you a love potion, they dlisa you. So they are feeding you their love. They dlisa you. So that the whole story was around how if you love someone and they don't love you back, you really just have to dlisa them.
fixed.
Yeah, it's match fixing. It's match fixing. So you've got matchmaking. This is match fixing. Udlisa.
Ngiyabonga Melus. So do you believe Udlisa exists?
I'm not really superstitious, you know what I mean? But I believe those who believe.
Okay. And our next word is something that isn't necessarily in the book, but Umelusi does.
Yeah, it's ubudlelwano. Ubudlelwano. But then if earlier we had spoken about different dialects, and some people say ubudlelwane. So ubudlelwano and ubudlelwane. Ubudlelwano is the isiZulu word for relationship. It is related to dla, which is eat. Related to dlisa as well, right? Because dlisa is related to dla, eat. So ubudlelwano is the isiZulu word for relationship. What Utenjiwe is talking about is an initiative that I run with a friend of mine who's an Afrikaans journalist. His name is Joe Prince. At the beginning of each month, South Africans from different walks of life, different races, sexual orientation, socioeconomic standing, education levels get together informally. It's not politically aligned. It's not a religious thing. It's just a bunch of concerned South Africans who want to meet people that they otherwise would never hang out with, that they would never speak to. And how this initiative came about for me was on my Facebook platform, where this whole Melusi's Everyday Zulu thing started. I noticed that people were getting to know each other in ways that they had never before. You know, there was a day when I threatened to shut down the Facebook page just for fun. I like threatening people for fun, not violent, but you know. And the one young black guy said, no, please don't shut down the page. It's the only time I get to speak to white people who are not my employers. And that stuck with me, you know, that stuck with me. And there was also an elder, a white woman, who said it was the first time she spoke to black people that didn't work for her or her family. And I thought, this is wrong. You know, this is wrong. So let's take it out of social media and let's do it in real life. So once every Saturday, we are confined to Joburg for now, but we're hoping to do it all around the country. We have these sessions called ubudlelwano. Ubudlelwano, the sound, ubudlelwano. It's the Zulu word for relationship.
Siyabonga Melus. An interesting thing about this word, as I go into my little tangents, is that it comes from, so you know when somebody brings you food at your house and you can't take the plate back empty. Okay. It's a thing that, I don't know if you do it here, but you're not allowed to take back the plate empty. It's like the same way that a person can't come to your house and not eat.
Yeah.
And it comes from the idea that eating forms relationships.
Yes.
So so this is like the root of this word and how it's become directly translated to mean relationships, because relationships are built when somebody comes skinny, you must feed them, even if you're giving them an apple, it's a thing. But also when you are taking back a thing that came with food, you must also take back something. You don't find it a lot in Joburg, but I still know that every time I take back a friend's plate, I'll put one grape if I must, because I've just been raised like that. And so that's where this word comes from, Siyabonga Melus. And then our next word is?
The next word is idlozi. Idlozi. Idlozi is an ancestor. An ancestor. So those who have come before us, that's idlozi. And in the book, I speak about, because it's an interesting concept. So I ask questions such as, if idlozi, your dlozi, was an idiot when he was alive, does it mean you've got an idiot dlozi? You know, so does your dlozi? Because what we do is then we speak to our ancestors. You know, sometimes we seek guidance. We hope that they'll show us the way. But if your idlozi was an idiot and you seek guidance, is your idlozi going to mislead you, right? And I speak about, if idlozi knows you one way and now you wear a lot of makeup, does idlozi recognize you? You know. And also at the end, I then say, you know, because a lot of South Africans have abandoned their African ways, there are amadlozi, that's a plural, who are available, you know, who have no one to speak to. So I say I run a service where I hire out amadlozi to white people for a fee.
Even mine are for rent, just because no, I can't. I almost said they're useless, but apparently can't say that. Take it back. Anyway, so thank you, Melissa, for that. And then our next sound is g, 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 and the root of that sound is the sound, and you'll see that with the next few sounds. And so the root is C, and when you add a G in front of a C or any of the clicks, you go lower in how you pronounce the C. So it would be a on its own. It's a g, g, when it has something, yeah? So our example here is?
Goba. Goba. So goba is to apply. So let's say if you're applying lotion or if you're spreading margarine, you goba. So if you're spreading margarine on bread, you goba, or if you apply lotion. And the story there was about me and my kids, right? I told them that we need to have a revolution, you know. And my daughter said, no, but we don't use Revlon lotion in this house, you know. So, and I said, you know, the revolution will never take hold in the Shabalala household when people are too concerned about what they cover instead of moving the country forward and changing the country. So my daughter confused revolution with Revlon lotion.
The same kids who sing struggle songs also.
No, the struggle songs, the kids were singing nursery rhymes, and I wanted to participate, and then I realized that I was just singing struggle songs
to your children.
Yes,
So
yes, because I don't know any necessary rhymes.
So you know struggle songs and revolution.
Yes.
These and politicians.
Yes.
These are the things Melusi knows.
This tells you.
Apartheid. Did you see what apartheid is? I'm joking. So anyway, and so there, just remember, and we're gonna go through every time we go through this. The key sound is the, but to make the sound, you go lower. So our next sound is the root there is an X. And to make that go lower, it's and our
That's that. You can speak about
so
that.
There I put Kapashe, and Kapashe is if you, I don't know if you can, so Uzalo from first season can be streamed still on YouTube on SABC1, but there used to be this notorious gangster whose name was Kapashe, and so
Uzalo is a TV series.
Yes, and it's
Uzalo.
one of the TV series and that we've spoken about before that you can just see the quick YouTube links to on the page. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put those. All right. Yabong. And then the next one is the Q sound, the sound, and it goes lower when it has a G in front of it, and it becomes go. So do you remember how we were doing the sound? Just go. So make your mouth, so open it a bit more. So gom. And so that's the example that's been put here. Gom, and gom is a music. And
Genre,
yeah.
It's a type of dance music, a derivative of house music that comes out of Durban and has taken South Africa by storm and the world. If you are into EDM, electronic dance music, you would know about gom.
Yeah.
Yeah, about gom. Yeah.
Many people also argue it has like a variation of kwaito, just because of the use of lyrics in terms of the difference between. But anyway, so that's gom, and our other word here is mgomo, which is a bin. Mgomo, a bin.
So I don't have a story about umgomo, but I have a story about udoti, which is rubbish, and you throw rubbish into umgomo. And that story, there was a day I'd read an article. And it said there was a young white woman who was going around giving, homeless black people cake. And I thought, this is lovely. This young woman is sleeping with these homeless black people. And then when I read, because cake is, cake.
I was thinking you were talking about actual baked cake.
Yes. And it turned out she was giving them cake. And I thought, God, I have such rubbish thoughts. Why did
I'm glad you knew.
So my thoughts sometimes belong in umgomo.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. I really was. I thought this is amazing. This is what Mandela was talking about. Reconciliation.
Is it?
No, that's what I thought when I read the story for the first time.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out.
Let's continue.
Yes. Okay, and then our next sound is the sound that we've done before. It's one of the first sounds we did with the kahle, and so the sound is again. And Melus is going to go into the book.
Umhlola. So umhlola is ridiculousness. It's something that is astounding. It's umhlola. And the root word is hlola. So uyahlola, if you are being ridiculous, right? So a lot of the stories in the book are full of imihlola, ridiculousness. Yeah.
All right. Siyabonga, and the other one?
So the word is ukuhlanya. Ukuhlanya is insanity, madness. And the story in the book is around the madness that happens in May in South Africa, or around that time, where winter is kicking in, So black people in South Africa cannot deal with the cold, but white people seem fine with it, right? They will still want to turn the aircon down even though black people are already freezing. And then you have what is called the aircon wars. Okay, so we have aircon wars and they lead to ukuhlanya. Everybody loses their minds over the aircon.
Is that what corporate's like?
Yeah, that's what corporate's like. We fight over aircon.
Uguhlanya is what
exactly, uguhlanya.
All right, okay. So the next combination is, so we're done with the combinations that have a G and then a hard sound. So the GC, the GX, and the GQ, the G, G, G. And now we're going to get into, so these aren't necessarily hard it's just how the language is constructed. In the English language, you wouldn't have the same combination of words. And these are letters that start with an N. So like intsangu, intsumpa. And then what we then have is nxese and onxese. Just so the learning of the combination of that sound is what we're going to do. So our first combination is NTS. And our word is?
Intsangu. So, and intsangu is weed, the ganja, Mary Jane, marijuana, right? Yeah, people love that. And it has been legalized in South Africa, but you can only smoke it in private. You're not allowed to walk around smoking it wherever you want. So
that's what they think.
So the story in the book is about this one time I was with a friend of mine, and we were in Durban at this shopping center called Gateway Shopping Center. And he then pulls out a joint and he starts smoking in the shopping center. And I said to him, "What are you doing?" He said, "They said ganja, intsangu, is a gateway drug. That's why I'm smoking it at Gateway." And he was duly arrested. So, intsangu.
Really?
Yeah. You can't just smoke intsangu wherever you want.
Mouth dryness is another thing that intsangu brings about. All right, thank you, Melusi. And then our next sound is and that's it's the combination of the N and the S. You'll find also a combination of an N and an X, and then an N and a C, and that's just the last. So the previous sound is intsangu, and then the next sound is ntsumpa, yeah, ntsumpa. NS, the NS sound, and that's connected, and the N is persistent in the NS, the NC, and the NX, yeah. And so the sound.
Yeah. So the word there is ntsumpa. Ntsumpa is a ward as well as a principal, so like a school principal. So a ward and a principal. So the whole thing that I was saying there is that it shows our relationship with authority. You know, we think a principal is a ward, and no one wants wards. So, yeah.
All right. Siyabonga, Melu said the next word is?
The next word is mtsintsila. Mtsintsila is a butt crack. You know the thing, butt crack. That's mtsintsila. And I was just talking about how I would go on holiday with the family, and when it's time to go back, because I live in a suburb called Four Ways, and I just think, oh God, I have to go back to that mtsintsila ka Satan. Satan is the devil, so mtsintsila ka Satan is the devil's butt crack. So mtsintsila.
And then our next sound is the, which is also, and again, so just depending on the dialect, is sometimes swapped for the, so you can say nxese, and you can also say nxese, yeah, and just depending on the region. And so our word for today is
nxese. Yes. And I have no stories around that word, but I do apologize if some of my stories today or during this lesson were offended anyone. Nxese. I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you very much, Melusi. So that's the end of today's lesson. And so again, this week and the focus, we're going to go into the activity sheet. That's the end of the sounds. We're going to go into the activity sheet, and the focus is that we practice this over and over again so we can at least hear these sounds. And then for the next lesson, we'll be getting into language construction, and I'm hoping by then you at least know how to pronounce isiZulu or parts of isiZulu words. Yeah? Okay. So our activities sheet for this week, and you will see from the activity worksheet that I'm hoping that your Zulu is getting better, and so I've started to put the instructions in isiZulu as well, but there's a translation. So our first phrase is udlomo udlala amadadla. Udlomo udlala amadadla. Udlomo is a surname, udlala is to play, and amadadla is gambut. So udlomo is playing a gambut dance. And that's the L sound. Our next sound is the L sound, which is uhlubi uyahlawula ngolwesihlanu. Uhlubi uyahlawula ngolwesihlanu. Hlubi again is a surname. Ukuhlawula is to pay
Fine.
a fine, yeah,
Fine.
like a reparation of sort for damages. Yeah, damages. NgoLwesihlanu is Friday, and that's the sound. Our next sound is the sound again. So it's Gcoba, Gcobisa, Uzopasha. Gcoba, Gcobisa, Uzopasha. Gcobisa is in somebody's name in Xhosa, in fact. So Gcoba, Gcobisa, Uzopasha. Yeah, and it's an instruction to say, Gcobisa, put on some lotion or you're gonna get dry. And that's the sound. And then we have the sound. Unsele unamantsentse, nomtsintsila okomile. Unsele unamantsentse, nomtsintsila okomile. So I'd like you to highlight the sounds that are hard for you there, because there's a combination of them here. So it's the combination of the ns, yeah, amantsense and tsintsila. All right, and then our last word is ncese. Ncese, ncebakazi, ungabe usanxozula nawe. Sorry, ncebakazi, don't break it more. So don't break it further. And that's just, again, to practice the sounds. We'll provide the translations,
The audio.
And the audios, but that's just to practice saying those sounds and picking them up. And so this is the end of our lesson for today. Please remember to practice, to go through the audios, to listen, to look out for these words and try saying them as you go through the week. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you again for learning with us. I hope you found this lesson useful. And as Utenjiwe has said, practice. Talk to us in the chat. Follow the links. Speak to isiZulu speaking people. Watch as much isiZulu television as you can. Listen to as much Zulu radio as you can. And isiZulu music. Thank you very much. Salani kahle. Siyabonga.